Thokozani, Emakhosini, Amako. Thank you for joining me for another video. Thank you for joining me for Church in the Wilderness. So I'm gonna start. I pray that God give us the spirit of wisdom, spirit of understanding, the spirit of revelation to comprehend the times that we are living in and what He's saying. So if I am not audible, please just hit me up on the message. Yeah, thank you. So today we are going to be talking about, it's going to be a continuation from what we first started last week on the end time deception. So what we're going to be talking about today is the man of sin, the man of lawlessness, the man of destruction. Why is he called such? Why is he given that name? Lawlessness, sin, son of perdition, destruction. Okay. I think it's even important that we look at it because of the times that we are living in. Okay. So we are gonna look at history. Okay. We're gonna look at scripture, what it says. So we're gonna start at Daniel 11, verse 31 to 33, and then we will shoot down to verse 39. Okay. So Daniel 11, verse 31 to 33 and 39. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword and by the flame, by captivity and by spoil many days. Verse 39. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. Okay. So I want us to look here at verse 31. Arms shall stand on his part, meaning he's going to have weapons. And they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength. I love that because not only is the sanctuary of God or the house or where we worship God a sanctuary, it's not just a place that we worship God, but it is a sanctuary of strength where we get our strength from. Okay, so he will pollute the place in which we draw strength from. Okay, and he will take away the daily sacrifice. Okay, and shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. Okay, so there's an abomination that maketh desolate. Why is it an abomination that maketh desolate? Okay, so let's go to Zechariah chapter 11, and then okay, I'll start from verse 4 and move to verse 5. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, that they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Okay, so their possessors slay them, the people that take them captive slay them, and they hold themselves not guilty. So they hold themselves blameless as they do that. And they will sell them. And as they're getting rich, they say, Ooh, thank you, God, I am rich. And yet, even our own shepherds or their own shepherds pity them not. Okay. So there are people who slay, all right, us. And this has been happening from like since the beginning of the trouble. Okay. They slay and then they hold themselves not. Hold themselves not guilty, excuse me. Ecclesiastes 32, verse 17 says, A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. So a sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. Okay, so this man of lawlessness, it's a hint that he is one who can't be reproved, who can't be rebuked, or who doesn't take on rebuke, doesn't also have a conscience, okay? But finds excuse to do his will. So finds laws to legalize the wickedness, in other words. Umakos. Okay, so I love this verse of Zechariah, verse 11, verse 4 to 5, where it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves guilty. And they sell them and say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Okay, so we have, if we look at Clark's Bible commentary, it gives two interpretations, which I really love. So the first one reads, whose possessors, okay, governors and false prophets, slay them by leading them to those things that will bring them to destruction. Okay, so that is also part of like another sign of the abomination that maketh desolate. But I like the second interpretation because it puts it perfectly. It says, and they that sell them give them up to idolatry and bless God. Strange to tell that they get circular advantage, which in other words is world dominion, by the establishment of this false religion. Okay, so they lead us into idolatry by establishing a false religion. That is how they slay us. Another way, spiritually, they slay us, by leading us into idolatry. Umakhosi, that they get world dominion by the establishment of a false religion. Okay, so we go on. We're going to look at, like from last week, we did look at the abomination that maketh desolate. We looked at like the idol that was put up and was a stumbling block to the whole world. It is a work of man's hands, you see, and therefore it's an abomination. Okay, so when we look at Daniel 31, where it says, where it says the abomination that maketh desolate. Maketh desolate. What does that mean? Okay, so I put down some adjectives or some definitions. So the first adjective is uninhabited or sorrowful emptiness. Another adjective is great unhappiness or loneliness. The verb to make desolate is to make sorrowfully empty. Of course, you could put that in every single aspect. You put that financially, you put that spiritually, you put that like in all aspects to make empty, sorrowfully empty. And the last verb is to make utterly wretched and unhappy. So utterly miserable and heartbroken. Makos, you see. So this is the abomination that maketh desolate, okay, is an abomination, is cursed, it makes desolate, it brings sorrowful emptiness and makes one utterly wretched. Okay, that's why God says, do not touch that cursed thing. Okay, so let's look at the image of which the Catholic Church has put up. Okay, that put up as the image of God. Okay, so we look at Cesar Borgia. So that's Cesar Borgia. Cesar Borgia. Makos. So he is the son of Pope Alexander the Sixth. Okay. This Pope ordered Leonardo da Vinci to replace all the images of Christ to make them look like his son. So, in essence, basically, the Pope has established himself as God and is now establishing the Son of God by ordering the image of his Son to be now the image of the Son of God. Okay, so if I think at the end I will put up a link about further this person, a video one can go to. But he had he wasn't I feel like if you could put up like an image of God, yeah, you wouldn't want to do this person, you understand? But anyway, in 19 in 1551, the papal diarist Jacob Burckhardt wrote, "There is no longer any crime." Now he's writing about the Borgia family, okay? The family that was the head, who's there in Rome, also who had finalized the papal supremacy, okay? Rapes and active incest are countless. His sons and daughters are utterly depraved. Depraved meaning morally corrupt and wicked. Great throngs of courtesans frequent St. Peter's Palace. Pimps, brothels, and whorehouses are to be found everywhere. A most shameful situation. You see, so this is based now is the Catholic Church, that were ahead of the Catholic Church. So if we just want to also go on the Papal Bulls, you see this guy, this papal diarist is putting a date to it. He's writing that by the time it was 1551, these were the type of things that were going on in Rome and in public. Okay, so if we go at that time and we look at the papal bulls, okay, they were established by the Vatican, okay, they were sealed and apparently were sealed with a spell. It's an edict issued by the Pope, okay? And these people, okay, they said they own, basically, they claiming, with the Papal Bulls, they are claiming ownership of the world, okay? So the first Papal Bull was established in 1455, Romanus Pontifex, okay, which means they own all the real estate, all right? You only have the right of use ever in this world. So the second Papal Bull was established in 1481. Please also note the years, okay? Makosi, this is actually before, this is leading up to when Cindy C is talking about when you see the let's go there quickly just so that we understand. When you therefore see the abomination of desolation, okay, when you see that, this is the establishing of it, this is coming up. So in 1481, that papal bull was called Attorney Regis, where now they own the property, like property, things in this world. And then in 1531, okay, convocation, where they own the souls by conversion. Okay, so this is them owning the entire world. This is political power. This is spiritual power. Okay. So with this with these papal bulls was basically this type of base of IDs. You understand, so that you are now a slave. Okay. So let's move on. I'm going to explain now, okay, the abomination of desolation. All right. So, these are the people, this is the abomination that maketh desolate. Okay. These are the people that in put or authorized slavery. Okay, they authorized the selling of people. Okay, they authorized in the background, there were things that they were doing, as it says that the beast, the dragon gave power to the beast, you understand. um, they do not, because this is an idol, it's outside of God, they don't draw the power, you understand, from God. Okay, I'm talking about the establishing of the Catholic Church, its establishment, and the people who are said to be the heads of it, the things that they were doing. Sometimes we have to go back and read about what was going on, you see. So, just like God, Satan has a seat on the earth, and even still, just like God, he, in order to push his agenda, okay, he uses people to do his bidding. All right. So, Msindisi said, you will know them by their fruits. Okay. So, Makos, Ecclesiastes, okay, not Ecclesiastes. Okay, let me read Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 to 4 quickly. Okay. This is the book of the commandments. Oh no, let me not read. Let me not read this, but let me read Proverb chapter 6. Okay. So I want to be explaining what is an abomination. Understand? The abomination of desolation. So Proverbs 6:16 to 19 from the Amplified Bible reads as follows. 6 things the Lord hates, indeed 7 are repulsive, abominable to him: a proud look, the attitude that makes one overestimate oneself and discount others. That is a proud look. A lying tongue, hands that shed blood, a heart that creates wicked plans, feet that run swiftly to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, or even half truths, and one who spreads discord, rumors among brothers. Okay, so those are the things that are abominable and hateful to God. You know? But if you look at all of these things, these are all of the things that are guilty of the people that had, who are working for the Catholic Church or uh, for Satan. I'm not saying all of them, but the spirit behind it, because it is an abomination. You understand? So even when they came to put us all in sin and attack our families and our ancestors, blood was shed, plans, evil thoughts were put up, feet that run swiftly to do evil, you understand, without a conscience, you understand, a false witness. Okay, like I love that video ka King Shaga. Yo, Makhosi, ka King Shaka Zulu. He's like that one of the white people that was speaking to him, the one with the bald head. He was like, Shaka asked him, do you worship this king? And he was like, no, I don't worship that king. You understand? But the other one was up on a false witness, you understand, stating that this is the King of Kings. This specific image, okay, is the King of Kings. This is the image of God. This is the image of the Son of God. And yet it was an abomination because it was made by hands. It is cursed. You understand? Frankly, the people, the image of the person that it is, that it is of, is not whether it's Ubuntu, whether it's your the laws of my art. You understand? Those people were not that. You understand? So we go to Proverbs 26, verse 24 and 25. He who hates disguises it with his lips, but he stores up deceit in his heart. When he speaks graciously and kindly to conceal his malice, do not trust him, for 7 abominations are in his heart. Okay, so he who hates, you understand, he who has racism, you understand, disguises it with his lips, but there are 7 abominations in his heart, so do not trust. Hence, Msindisi's words say, don't believe, don't trust, okay? The warnings all the time, because, I mean, if you don't, like, this is serious in the minute, it's very easy to look at the repercussions of what we've been through. I think the deception fact, if you think, Marcos, if you think about where we would be if our parents had not been stripped of their wealth and their livestock and their homes and their lands and kidnapped, killed, history removed, where would we be as a people? Understand, if we had not fallen for these, for such an idol or an abomination, you understand, where would we be really? So now we have to think, is it okay, where would I be? I wouldn't be here. You understand? We wouldn't be like starting from all of us around the world. We're literally starting from scratch. Okay, so there are 7 abominations in their hearts. Okay, so Msindisi speaks about the 7 abominations. I'll read it from the Message translation. Course. From verse 17. But what comes out of the mouth gets its start in the heart. It's from the heart that we vomit up evil arguments, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, lies, and cursing or blasphemies. That's what pollutes. So he will put up the abomination of desolation that will pollute, okay, the land, that will pollute, he will pollute the sanctuary of strength, the place that we draw our strength from as Bantus, black people. He will pollute that place, okay, with the 7 abominations. Hence, the abomination that maketh desolate, because God does not, God hates it. Okay, so let's go on. We'll read Luke 16, verse 15. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed, highly loved, highly valuable among men is an abomination in the sight of God. You see. So we need to be careful. The things that people hold up highly, okay, the thing that we fell into with this idol, this false God, the strange God, okay, is actually an abomination in the sight of God. Okay, so we'll read further John 8, verse 44. Ooh, excuse me. John 8. John 8, verse 44, he says, Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in truth. Because there is no truth in him. Okay, so what does the devil do? And the seed of the devil will have the lusts of the devil. Okay, so what does he do? He's a murderer. He's a liar. No, there's no truth in him. He is a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he maketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. I mean, for the mere fact that we have a history that we cannot actually be certain of, or that was erased, sometimes it's the whitewashing, it's the lies. It's the lies, and all of these things were commissioned by one place, the Vatican, Rome. You understand? You could say maybe it's the establishment of white supremacy at the end of the day, the system. Okay. Joel, let's look at Joel chapter 3, because when we look at Joel chapter 3, we see that why is there going to be a judgment on nations, Gentile nations, because we are not Gentiles, you see. But why is there going to be a Gentile? What did they do? And what have they been doing to our ancestors, you see, since this abomination that maketh desolate has been established. So we'll read. Excuse me. And I want to say, if anyone, in fact, I'll even put it, because there was last night, there was a very good teaching, a very powerful teaching, Ga Baba U Robert Headley. Um, awesome, very much awesome. I'll actually put the link of the video in the description box, and please, like this, your great man is teaching us and showing us that the places in the Bible are actually here in the continent, you understand? So yesterday he did a teaching on the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'll put the link in the box, in the description box, for people to learn. Please subscribe, you know. Okay, so what are they being judged? What do they do? What does um, the spirit behind this idol? Okay, for behold, in those days, and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots. Okay, let me just stop there. So they've scattered the Bantus, they've sold them into slavery, and they've parted the land. Okay, something that didn't belong to them. Firstly, the parting of the land is sacred land. Like we looked at it, this is the land in which God actually lives on. He provides for Africa. God provides for Africa. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. So we became literal properties when they authorized slavery. We became property that could be just traded. If you wanted beer, you trade a child or a girl. If you wanted something, you just trade people, separate people. Yea, and what do I have to do with me? What do you have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head? Because ye have taken my silver, taken my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem ye have sold, okay, unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Okay, so these are the things that they were doing, and this is the abomination that maketh desolate. You understand? God hate that abomination, and they knew what they were doing. All right. So these are the people that are actually in charge or were commissioned by the Catholic Church to do these things, and judgment over things done throughout time. Okay, this is the judgment that would be done or that is awaiting. Okay, so what you see, that why would we, okay, let me put it like this. Excuse me. I want us to be careful, because the reason why I'm against Christianity is because of the curse which it put us under. You understand? And I'm trying to, I think Spirit is trying to make us aware. You understand? It's time that we be aware and take seriously the things that deprive us of spiritual power. You understand? Things that pollute the sanctuary of strength that we ought to have. Of course, you understand. So it is my desire that people will come to understand what Christianity is, and then look at its effect of what it has done to our ancestors. It, it didn't bring life. And yet we were given all the things that we needed to have life. You understand? And I say it again, that the deception of today is that we think that we are not under curses because we think like and everything. But just typically think, where would we be if we had not gone into that slavery, and we're not gone and betrayed God and our ancestors, okay, by going with this abomination that did make us desolate, that did make the land desolate, that made our lives miserable, utterly miserable, because we are all, like I say today, we're all starting from scratch. Imagine if we had not been stripped of the things of what our ancestors had, the land, the cattle, the houses, everything. You see. So why would we want to put our or can continue putting ourselves in the same position as our ancestors? You understand? Frankly, there is a deception in that as well, because we're believing like we're believing this image, okay, that is supposed to be God. You understand? Okay, but God said it is an accursed thing. Okay. So actually, like, why would we continue to have such a thing? How is it that we can put living beings, God and our ancestors, together with the Church of Satan? Really? Of course. I want us to read Joshua chapter 6, verse 18. Like, this is so right. There's nothing new under the earth, really. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. Really, really, there's nothing new. Chapter 6, verse 18. God is saying, "And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed when ye take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel a curse and trouble it." You understand? And that's why the Bible says, "Guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it come see the affairs of life." When Msisi is saying there are 7 abominations in the heart, you see, when you take of an accursed thing, you understand, and you give your heart to it, you understand, you will live an accursed life. You see, so don't take of the cursed thing, leave it. See, learn from your ancestors, learn from your ancestors. See that cursed object. Of course, I like just stick to your culture. It's the way of which you are in God's will, doing your culture. Leave other things, fire, leave other things that bring a curse. Stop giving your time and your money to cursed objects. You understand? Okay. But anyway, chapter 7, verse 10 to 26. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Get thee up, wherefore liest thou thus upon thy face? The Bantus have sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have stolen and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff. They put it in their hearts. Therefore the children of Israel, or the Bantus, could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies, because they were cursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except ye destroy the accursed from among you. Set up, sanctify, wait a minute. Okay, sanctify the people and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, for thus saith the Lord your God of the Bantus. There is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Bantus. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies until you take away the accursed thing from among you. And it shall be, verse 15, that he that is taken with the accursed thing shall be burned with fire, and he and all that he has, because he had transgressed the covenant of the Lord, because he has wrought folly in the land. Okay. So it's a typical example, all right? Msinisi said, be careful of those that say, I am Christ. You understand? Because they are bringing an abomination that makes desolate. You understand? So do not touch the cursed thing, because we will not be able to stand before our enemies. Makho. You see, so we cannot mm, well, it's up to you and up to everyone. You understand, salvation is personal. Where we want to go, as long as your eyes are open, you understand, I guess. The aim is to worship God in spirit and in truth, basically, you know. So okay, let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 10. 19 to 22. What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything? But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I not that ye would have fellowship with devils, because look at history. Just look at history. Even look today, because even today, even still, this trouble is going on. It's a problem because if you don't get your news on like online, you understand, you get it from TV, you won't see what is going on really with your people all over the world, the persecution and the killing that is going on only because of the color of their skin. You understand? But we're waking up, siyabonga Nkosi. You cannot drink the cup of God with the cup of devils. Cannot drink the cup of the ancestors with the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. You cannot be partakers of the ancestors' tables and of the table of the devils. How do we provoke God to jealousy? Are we stronger than Him? You see, so you can't we cannot be putting living beings, righteous beings, beings of light with the darkness, you see, and all the things that are bringing destruction, the abominations, the curses that they are putting under our lives, because it negates all and any good. You understand? I just say, open the door to your ancestors. I am an advocate of the ancestors. I will just say, you understand? I'm not saying life is easy and smooth, but your protection, um, it is right, man. It's the law of God. You understand? Like, let us do Ubuntu. Like, singasabi Ubuntu bethu. Makhosi amakhulu, yobuntu. You understand? Because it's the way in which we were given by God to live. And if we can come together there, God commands the blessing, not the curse, you see. And then mind you, the other abomination, the last abomination that God hates is the one who sows discord amongst brethren, you see. So it's a kind of tip of anywhere where there is discord among brethren, there's an external force that is operating in that mix. It's showing you, you see. But then when you also fall out of the will of God, things get, you become blind and you easily susceptible to temptations. You understand, the pride of life. And funny enough, pride comes before the fall. Okay, but let's move on. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 from verse 16. And what agreement has the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple, living God, of living ancestors. You are the temple, the kingdom. Cindy said, the kingdom of God is within you, not there or wherever, is within you. So how can we have the temple of God with the idols? As God has spoken, I will dwell in them and walk in them. I will be their God. You Bantus are my people. You belong to me. You are my face in this earth. Makube njalo. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate with God, saith God, and touch not the unclean thing, touch not the cursed thing, and I will receive you, and I will be a father unto you, and you will be my sons and daughters, saith God Almighty. Therefore, having these promises, dearly beloved Bantus, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. Yeah. Yes, let us perfect, holiness. Let us rise to what we are, because we are not, what we see on TV was not done at our will, wasn't done at our will. We didn't engineer this westernized image, So let us come out from among them. Stay in your culture. Stay with your ancestors. There's nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. You understand? But they had to pollute the sanctuary of your strength in order to overcome you. All right, so let me read Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 to 4. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayst be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another. Give not thine honor to another. That are profitable unto you to a strange nation. O Bantus, happy are we For things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us. You understand? Leave the accursed thing. Leave that thing that destroyed our ancestors. The things that are profitable, that are pleasing to God, were made known to us and our ancestors. I think we shouldn't be afraid to be who we are. Yeah. They are not afraid to be, yay, Church of Satan, yay, serpent people. We should not be afraid to be who we are, do what we were called to do. All right. So in Matthew chapter 24, like we looked at it last week, there's like a general theme, okay? There's like, beware of the Christ, believe not the Christ. If they say the Christ is there and there, don't believe. You understand? So it's throughout this time of tribulation, the 400 years, it's like the theme is to beware of Christ. Beware when they say it's Christ, because it's not gonna be Christ. That there's gonna be a deception around what Christ looks like. Emakhosini. And when you look also at the Bible, you know, you find those subtle hints about what Msindisi looks like, what God looks like. You know, those subtle but very profound. You understand? So there's a deception around Msindisi, the way they're going to project him, the way he's going to look. There's going to be a deception that is going to say he's going to look like this. But note, he's got woolly hair, he's got feet like bronze, and I would expect that he would be darker even than me. Too light, you know. The darker, the berry. Okay, okay. Anyway, so uh, those subtle hints are very profound. It's very important. You understand that we actually do take note of what he's gonna look like. He's gonna say, then from verse 23, Matthew 24, verse 23, then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. There will be false Christs, false prophets, who will show great signs and wonders. Insomuch that if it were possible, thank goodness, if it were possible, like if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. You see? So the false Christ that are coming, they're going to be showing great signs and wonders that if it were possible, you understand. And I want to also, I'm going to explain that why it's going to say if they shall deceive the very elect. The very elect who's God's chosen, it's the Bantus. You understand? But if, you understand? If it were possible. So it won't be possible to deceive even the Bantus. You understand? We're going to read Revelation. I'm going to compare this passage with Revelation chapter 13 from verse 11 and 14. Okay, from Revelation chapter 13, verse 11 to 15, sorry. And I beheld another beast. This is the establishment of this coming new world order that they're trying to push. I think, are they saying 2030? Something along those lines. But we'll look at it, Spirit allows. I beheld another beast coming out of the earth like as a dragon. The power of the first beast before him. Okay. So this beast is also powered just like the first beast by the dragon. Okay. And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, signs and wonders that Msindisi spoke about, the great signs and wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means, not the Bantus, I'll explain it, but everyone on the earth deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Of the beast that had the wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay. So he gives life. There's going to be life given to the image of the beast. All right. So there's one image that the beast has come up with so far. Is that Cesar Borgia. Okay. But now when you think about like how will we give life, you understand? There's a video, just briefly, if you want to know where I got it, and it's all over the internet. If you look at AI and the invention of robots, you understand that image is gonna come to life, whether by whether the guy actually has a wife robot. I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, but he has the power to kill, to both speak, okay, and to kill those who do not worship the image of the beast. So I feel like it's everything to do with the technology that is coming about that we see today. Okay, but anyway, that's up to you. You can that salt on that, take it to God, Nizoba writes. So just like Umsindisi is saying, he will, they will put you to they will prosecute you, they will kill you if nobody wants to worship the beast, just like slavery, you understand? You were gonna be killed if you don't want to go into the system. The system has no need for you anymore. Excuse me. The system has no need for you anymore. So it's just gonna be, but I feel like it says the war in verse 12, chapter 12, verse 17. The dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of the seed, which keep the commandments, okay, of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So the war, in actual fact, or the people will be targeted first, I believe it would be us, Abantu. They would try, you understand. If you read, and then why? It's because we are the ones who have the laws of God, you understand? And we have the testimony of Umsindisi. We are what God looks like in the earth or subjugated. So he says, chapter 14, just want to read here. And I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, right, blessed are the dead which die in God from henceforth. You understand? Blessed are those who die for the commandments of God from henceforth. Okay, so we are targeted because we have the testimony of Umsindisi, we have the testimony of God. What is a testimony? It's a formal written or spoken statement. Formal written or spoken statement, especially one given in court of law, like evidence or proof of something, a public recount, conversation, or experience. We are a formal evidence, we are formal evidence or proof of the existence of God, the existence of Msindisi. You understand? We are the testimony. We have the testimony. So the aim is to eradicate everyone who has the testimony, you see. So if you cannot go into, when it says, and he causeth all, both small, okay. Okay, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the image of the first beast. You see, so if you don't want to, you see, you get killed. You understand? You can't buy, you can't sell until you receive that mark. Of course. And you know, the mark is something that already is something is for many years, for decades now, that they've been researching and trying to get here and there. You understand? So it's not something that's like far, you know. It's not something that is unimaginable, because the technology today, if they are making, what's that virtual rapper, you know, a virtual rapper, Emakhosini, who raps like black people, you know, if they're able to do make robots and AI, and they are even warning and saying that AI will reach a level of consciousness that will not be so easy to control, manage. Anyway, we have two choices. Like, again, when God said, I put before you life and death, choose life, you know, but it's our choice, you know. I wish we can all sit down from after here, we think about choose life, like sit down and imagine God is asking you, I'm giving you two options, life or death, you know, so that we can actually walk in the light, in the light of God, you know. Malachi chapter 3, which I was told to say this. Malachi chapter 3. From verse 14. Ye have said, it is vain to serve God. And what profit is it that we have kept his laws, commandments, ordinance? And what have we walked, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? And now we call the proud happy, yea, tempt God, are even delivered. Then they spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared God, and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith God, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serves him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked. You will discern between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. All right. Because out of the heart comes the issues, the fruits, and the fruits you will not deny. And with the fruits, they don't lie. So I wish, let's like take the time to meditate and just see, take it to God and pray about it. And just don't be afraid to learn God from scratch. It's needed, and it's not our fault either. It's not our fault, but it's required, and it's not a hard task. It's really not a hard task. It just requires humility, I guess. But I wish everyone well. Nonetheless, I will say the blessing quickly. So, yeah, may God bless you and keep all of you. May God make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift up his countenance upon you and give you all peace. Makube njalo. Ngiyabonga, makhosi amakhulu. Be safe. Look after your children. Look after your families. Yeah. Blessed and have a very, very, very enlightening and powerful week. Yeah. May you see the salvation of God this week. Thokozani. Emakhosini.